Hello, I'm Alex from IGN and I'm joined by Keza McDonald.
Hello.
Now Keza, you've been playing GTA Online for the past few days?
Yes.
So we're going to answer, at least attempt to answer a few of the questions that you have over GTA Online. Now, I guess the first one is, how does the transition go from single player to multiplayer?
Well, when you begin GTA Online, you start by creating a character. And so you can customize. It's not a huge amount of customization. Like you can customize like your hairstyle and your race.
Right.
And it's weird. Like you determine who your mother was and who your father was, and then who your mum's mum and mum's dad were, and so on. And that kind of just generates this like genetic profile for you.
Right.
And then so you have your character, and then from then on, whenever you press down on the D-pad to switch between like Franklin, Michael, and Trevor, your character is there in the bottom slot.
So it's always there?
Always there. So you can just, same way as before, when you want to play GTA Online, you switch to it, it zooms out over the map of Los Santos, hangs for a little while, and then zooms back in on your character GTA Online wherever they are in the city.
And is it like in the single player where you often like obviously cut to Trevor being drunk on a rooftop somewhere or whatever? Is your character getting on with life in Los Santos?
Generally not. They're generally where you left them.
Right, okay.
So it's quite like, they'll usually just be standing on a sidewalk, their car will be nearby.
Right.
I mean, it's worth saying before we get like too far into the details of this that I was playing the beta, and a lot is going to change between the beta and the release on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So what I say, some of this may change, but I think the general impression of it is probably going to stay about the same.
Right. And does it tie in with the single player at all, or is it completely standalone?
I was surprised because I thought it was going to be, you get in, there's your character, you just start doing missions.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a proper little story to it. So you start off like I picked a woman character, which is great, by the way. Playing GTA as a female protagonist, that's something a lot of people wanted from GTA 5, and now you can have it.
Yeah.
And you turn up at the airport, and Lamar is waiting there with a rose, trying to sweet talk you. Just slap this rose out of his hand. So it actually has a proper story with directed cutscenes, and you meet a lot of the characters from the single player game. You're getting missions from some of the same characters that you get missions from the single player game.
Right.
So that's like the directed thing, but there are lots of other missions and other things to do as well. Like the directed missions are like maybe, I don't know, 5%, maybe 10% of the missions that are there.
The rest is, free for you to kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah, the rest is basically lobby-based death matches, team death matches, sudden death, races, parachute, base jumping.
Right.
So those are all like little instances. When you're driving around in the open world, you see these little blue circles that are missions.
Yeah.
And you kind of go in and then you're in a lobby and it works much like you'd expect GTA multiplayer to work.
Right, okay. And the world itself, is it exactly the same as single player? So you've got Los Santos and then the surrounding countryside?
It seems to be exactly the same.
Okay.
With the mild caveat that I'm not sure it's got quite as much detail in terms of NPCs and stuff.
Right.
And there's quite as much traffic because it's got 16 players. I think it's 16 players you have at once in an instance.
Yeah.
So you're driving around, you see other people. I had fun last night just driving around after this person. Like wherever they went, I'd go. And they kept trying to get away, and I just go around, drive around them in circles.
That's a bit like when I was playing Journey. Like when someone else just pops up there and they're following you, it's like, just leave me alone.
I was just following them. It was quite amusing after a while. I chased them for about 15 minutes, and then they shot me because they clearly got fed up with my antics.
So yeah, that's a good question. How does that work? Is that pulling in from your friends list or your crew club, or is it just randoms? Obviously, it's the beta at the minute, so it's not indicative of what the final game is.
The beta, to be honest, it had some problems with matchmaking, and I had problems joining instances. Whether that was to do with my connection with the beta, with the servers, whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it'll be more stable at launch, but there's no guarantees.
Right.
So you can tell it what you want. You can be like, I want to go in with my crew. I want to go in with 2, 4, 6, 16 in my crew.
Yep.
Or you can ask it to put you in whatever instance is there, or you can ask it to skill match you with other players. Like there's a bunch of options when you're in the online menu when you're going into an instance.
Right.
I just tended to pick the go option, which is literally just switch and you're in.
Yeah.
And then you're with random people. But when I get my crew built up, when the game's out, I'm probably going to want to play with them more.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Obviously we've set up the IGN UK crew, and it'd be great to kind of roll with that. And how does it work? Obviously, if you've got, I want to go online by myself, like nobody else, no one on my friends list is there. Do the experiences that are open to me, are they the same as if all 16 of my friends were there, or can we go and do something as 16 of us all together?
It's very different depending. There is an option in GTA Online for a solo play.
Right.
So you just turn up and it's just you in the city. But then like most of the missions aren't available, obviously, because most of the missions require at least 2 people to play.
Right.
If you have a race, you can do races on your own. Like I was doing a couple of races just by myself because I couldn't find any other players.
And you win.
You win. It's brilliant. It's cheat codes. And then death matches and other stuff. Obviously you need more than one player.
Yeah.
I had a lot of death matches that were just me versus one other guy. And that's actually really cool because of the verticality of Los Santos.
Yeah.
You're in this like like one of them was in the Hollywood studios, the Vinewood studios even.
Right.
And like I was just hiding on top of a building, just looking for him. I had no idea where he was, and he was like creeping. And eventually, I got him like creeping up the fire escape to try and creep up on me. So that was pretty cool. It's like cat and mouse.
So are you restricted in the area? Because obviously it's a huge city.
Yeah.
Like even if you had 16 people in a deathmatch, if that area is not restricted, you could spend ages looking for each other.
That's right. Like the death matches happen in little maps, basically.
Kind of closed off areas.
Little sections of the city, and they're not exactly like they are in the city. Like they're optimized. They're maps for multiplayer.
Right.
So it's based on like a bit of the map, but you'll see it's a bit different. There's a few places to hide. It's very, very good at finding places to hide.
Yeah.
Like that was the map design was really impressive, I thought. And when you're just out in the city and you're not on a mission, you can still run around and try and kill people if you want, or follow them around, or race them impromptu, whatever you want to do.
Right.
But the missions provide structure for that.
And how quick is it to sort of transition from like single player to multiplayer? So let's say you're playing in multiplayer, and then you want to transition back to Trevor or Franklin. How fast does that process take?
That took about a minute and a half at the moment.
Okay.
About a minute and a half, 90 seconds or so.
Yeah.
Again, because of the servers, I wasn't sure whether that was just like how it's going to be.
Right.
It hovers for quite a while over the Los Santos map before you switch back in.
But it's, I guess, similar loading times to the story mode when you first load that up. But once you're in the game, it's pretty much seamless.
Yeah.
So how does the XP stuff work and experience?
So when you play missions, you gain experience.
Yeah.
And the experience counts towards your rank.
Right.
And when you rank up, you can unlock different things like hairstyles, clothes, guns, cars, etc.
Yeah.
So there's basically two forms of XP. One of them is what you get for doing missions, and the other one is money.
Right.
And you unlock the things that are available to you via your rank and via XP, but then you buy those things with money.
Gotcha. Okay, so like how far into it and what kind of things have you unlocked so far?
I've been playing for about maybe 6 hours over the weekend. Connection issues notwithstanding.
Yes.
And so I managed to get about 100k together in that time.
Right.
So it's quite slow actually getting. Like you'll gain like maybe $1,500, $1,600 for a big mission. If you come first, you get more money, which is cool.
Yeah.
So I managed to buy a garage for my cars, but I didn't manage to buy any cars.
Right.
It gives you one car for free that's like yours. And basically if you steal one and then take it to Los Santos Customs, you can put a marker on it that then makes it yours, but that costs money.
Okay.
So basically the idea is that you buy your own weaponry and you customize your own cars, and you buy a garage so you can have several of them, and then you can use those cars in races rather than using the default car that it gives you.
Like one of the other things that was mentioned pre-release is that like if you and I went on a job together, let's say you came first and I came second, the mission ends, then I can shoot you and take your money because you have to put it into an ATM.
That's right. Yeah.
That's insane.
It is mad. But the thing is, when you come out of the mission, you're not standing next to each other. You're wherever you are in the map when you started the mission. So if you do happen to be standing next to each other on the map, then you could have a fight.
I'll take your money.
But I had one situation where I was just desperately looking for an ATM because I had like $30,000 on me, and I couldn't find an ATM. Thankfully, I have discovered since that there's like a quick GPS you can use in the game that'll be just like find me the nearest ATM and it'll send it up. So you can just like drive like crazy to the nearest ATM, deposit your money.
Because that's almost like another part of the game is that you finish, you win. It's like great, I've got the money, but I've got to put it in an ATM fast before someone robs it. And
some of the missions are like crazy, like the heists. I didn't get to play a heist because they're quite far in.
Sure.
But apparently they're like 25 stage, like proper preparation, and then like the actual missions themselves are just crazy big, and they involve like 10 people.
See, that is
that's the thing I'm really excited about. Yeah, and that's what we won't get to experience. Well, no one gets to experience until the game's out.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to building up towards that, and just everybody getting their own car sorted, their own getaway vehicle.
Yeah.
I did a couple of great kind of directed missions, which were, rather than just being random deathmatch, random races, they were directed like single player story missions.
Right.
And they're usually in teams of 4.
Yeah.
So working together as 4 of you can take 4 cars, or 4 of you can go in the same car, you can take 2 cars, and you can figure out how to approach things.
Yeah.
Like, for one, we were basically assaulting a meth lab.
Yeah.
And I was kind of sniping from a rooftop quite far away, and meanwhile the 2 people were stealthing in, and then one person just drove their car straight into the middle. They distracted them, and then we could get them all out in the open. It was really cool.
Yeah.
It works exactly as well as I hoped it would.
Right.
Like playing GTA missions with more than one person is just really fun.
And so in those kind of instances, you're playing against like bots or NPCs?
Yes.
Or so is there at any point where, I don't know, you're the people that are kind of defending the meth lab and other people attacking you?
Yeah, there was one mission called Top Fun, which was essentially one team's in jets and one team's in cars. And
amazing.
it's really, really good fun. And also the races, you can change all the options, so you can put on traffic, turn traffic on or off. You can make it Midnight Club if you want, basically.
Okay.
Or you can do GTA races, which give you weapons like rockets.
That sounds
submachine guns and stuff, and just have this insane, crazy race where you're just blowing things up and trying to create roadblocks.
So it literally is the last over the line. Do you make it or not?
Yeah, pretty much. It's extremely fun. Like I will say, like everything that I've played is extremely fun so far, which is encouraging.
Yeah. Now, like one of the other things that was mentioned was, I think Rockstar said that money would be more freely available in multiplayer. But your experience so far is that actually it's quite tight.
It is quite tight. Like, I mean, I tried to buy myself, like, for instance, the things that you own determine what you start with in a mission.
Right.
So if you're in a deathmatch and you haven't bought any guns, you start with a pistol. So you're screwed if you start with a pistol and everybody else has started with a submachine gun. Like, that's you're done. Yeah. Unless you're very clever.
Could you potentially stop off by an ammunition halfway through?
No, not halfway through a mission.
Okay.
Like, you have to do that in the open world.
So you can't run you can't run into an ammunition. Stock up on armor.
But you can pick up things on the map.
Okay, right.
So like depending on what's on the map, you can.
Yeah.
But like, so for instance, you have to go and buy yourself an Uzi, and then you've got that as a starting weapon in all the death matches.
Gotcha.
But that's expensive. Like, I mean, it unlocks with your rank, and I was like, oh cool, I've unlocked submachine guns. Then you have to go buy it, and that costs a bunch of money. So you have to prioritize whether you want a car first or whether you want new guns first. Like, but obviously this ties into microtransactions.
Yes, which is the big question. So how do they work?
So the stuff that unlocks, you can't buy that.
Yeah.
So like if you're a level 1 and you've got $1 million, you can't buy anything. You can't buy an Uzi, you can't even buy a good haircut.
Right.
But if you're level 25 and a lot of stuff's unlocked and you want to buy yourself a house, you can pay real money to get GTA dollars.
Right.
So the stuff that you can buy is the stuff that you've already unlocked, but you can basically, you don't have to do missions for a while to earn that money.
Gotcha.
So you can still earn anything that you could buy with real money. You're earning the GTA dollars. You could do it. It's just a way to shortcut. So for instance, if you wanted to just immediately have a huge house, you wouldn't be able to because you'd have to play up till whatever level it is that you can get the house. But then once you're at the level where you got the house, if you buy the GTA dollars, you can then just buy it straight off.
Right, gotcha. And so do you think like the microtransactions or anyone that's spending money will give them an advantage over other people that just choose to grind?
I don't think so. It's certainly not in the gameplay, like because you physically can't unlock a weapon any earlier. What you could technically do, I guess, is if you unlocked the Uzi and you had that, and then you paid for a lot of money, then you could maybe buy a scope for it, buy a bunch of other stuff. Well, not scope. You could buy
an incremental, right, rather than something that's vastly better.
You can't buy anything that you can't earn.
Right. Okay.
And it doesn't take that long to earn. It's not like 100 hours of work to earn what you could buy for $1 million.
Yeah.
So I think it's a pretty good way of doing microtransactions. Like, it would be unreasonable, I think, to expect that GTA Online was going to be free forever for everyone.
No,
it's a huge game. Yeah. It took them years to make, and it's basically free with GTA 5. Yeah. So it makes sense that there's microtransactions in there. And we won't know until everyone starts playing, but right now it looks like it's handled pretty well.
Yeah. And I guess the last big question is, when's our review going live?
So we're doing a review in progress, which means that we're not going to stamp a score on it and give our verdict until we've played it for as long as we need to. So that's probably going to be a week or so.
So for everything GTA Online, keep it locked on IGN.